It's time to get lost in the Midcard. This Bleav in Pro Wrestling property is brought to you by Bet Online, the continued #1 source for all your sports betting needs. Join now and receive your 100% welcome bonus on your first deposit when you use our promo code Bleav. Now, here are Jeremy Bennett and Matt Black on the Bleav Podcast Network.
Oh, baby. Welcome to the podcast where we celebrate the return of, LA Knight. It's Lost in the Midcard on the Bleav in Pro Wrestling, Bleav Sports Network. Once again, thanks to Bet Online, our sponsor. Go check them out. Put on some bets for Monday Night Football tonight, baby. Denver Broncos taking on the LA Chargers. I don't know.
Should be a very easily predictable game.
You think?
I think.
Herbert's my guy. Herbert's my guy, man. That's my fantasy quarterback, and he's a stud. So I need a lot of points from him tonight. Welcome, everybody. Thank you, Stephen Chambers. Or as Kev Kellum would call him, Stephen Elimination Chambers.
My God.
Queen Monet in here. Thank you. Delwyn, a couple people here got in early. Get well soon, Triple H. We'll talk about that in a minute. And lots of stuff to I didn't realize that would loop. Uncheck the loop box. Hey, we're still getting used to this shit.
My God.
Week 2, here we go. I didn't realize I swear that loop was not on there last week, but I think Rick was pulling a rib on us here. I think that's what was going on.
That's fine. Won't be the first or last rib I receive in the wrestling business.
Ain't that the truth? As we did last week, we'll do our top 5 stories here today. We'll run down television from this past week, what we liked, maybe what we didn't like, and of course Raw. Previewing Raw as we're going to be leading you up to Raw here at the top of the hour, and a Fightful Select report on Raw too. A spoiler alert. If you don't want to hear spoilers, you may want to earmuff it. But and then of course, if we get once we get the rundown from Sean Rossap, we'll share that too. And again, spoiler alert, if you do not want to do it. But hey, our lead is, of course, what is the lead? What is the lead in pro wrestling? What is everybody talking about right now? It is Bray Wyatt. Of course, Bray Wyatt, a lot of people upset that he didn't appear on Raw. But if you read reports or read, you would have known that he would have been returning to SmackDown. And then it didn't help that the graphics department in WWE kind of screwed things up and put it up next right away. And again, if you did not read the Fightful Select report, you would not have known that he was going to close the show. But he did close the show on Friday, and a very, very emotional promo. It was very much Wyndham talking, I think, in the promo. And then it was interrupted by a man in a mask, which we believe is probably Bray Wyatt, and possibly kind of foreshadowing that maybe Bray Wyatt's greatest enemy is going to be himself. Is that what you kind of took out of that, Matt? And what were your thoughts on his promo?
Well, I think he understands the type of character that he's had since being in WWE. He's never really got to talk. I don't know if I want to use the term out of character, but just talking from a place of, personal feelings. I feel like he thought, this is my one chance to do this before this new arc of my character takes off, and let me do it in a unique way that no one's ever seen before. I thought it was tremendous. It was definitely one of those things where it left you wanting more. And I'm super excited to see SmackDown on Friday to see what's next for Wyatt.
What did you take from that interruption?
Well, I don't think they had much of a choice but to interrupt him, because I was looking at the clock.
Oh yeah.
And we know that SmackDown goes off the air 2 to 3 minutes early on Fox. It doesn't run to 10. It goes off at 9:57, 9:58, and I'm looking at the clock and it's 9:57, and Wyatt's still talking. I'm like, my God, don't cut this promo off.
Yeah,
so,
right. What do you make of
swerve and did the thing on the stage? I was like, okay, that makes sense.
What do you make of that? What do you make of this guy in the mask? What do you make of it?
Look, obviously people think it's Bray. I mean, at the same token, it could end up being Bo. We don't know. The voice was distorted.
It was me all
It
along.
could be anybody. And plus, on the camera, on a screen like that, it could be anybody.
Mhm.
But
Could be Elrod.
everybody's hoping for the Wyatt Six to be some form of faction on SmackDown. So hopefully that's where this is heading, or maybe it's just literally 3 faces of Foley but 6 faces of Wyatt. I mean,
Right.
we don't know for sure yet. Honestly, I think that's part of what makes this so great.
Yeah.
Is that it's leaving everybody asking questions instead of just automatically knowing what's happening next.
Yeah.
And I think without Vince being there and being a collaboration between Bray and Triple H and the new creative guy Rob Fee, I think it's a match made in heaven, man. I think we're gonna get some really great stuff out of this over the next several months.
Yeah, Rob Fee, obviously a horror writer and whatnot, good friends with Bray Wyatt. They were supposed to work. I think they were supposed to work together on that Warner Brothers project. I think it got axed, I think is what happened on that thing. And
apparently he pitched a Fiend movie to Nick Khan. Well, that was apparently very well received, and like they were gonna do it, and then the release happened, so obviously that fell through. But I mean, clearly this guy knows Wyatt and he knows what he's talking about. He's got a history in like the horror genre and Marvel and Disney, and I think he was a great hire for the company. He definitely, if you read his tweets on social media, he definitely seems like he knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
It's great to see WWE hiring people that are fans and they know what they're doing for the creative team.
Yeah, right. It's insane, but
compared to what we used to have.
Mark Cho wants the Fiend cut, the Snyder cut of the Fiend movie. I don't even know if they even made it or started on it. I think they just wanted to do it.
I know he filmed some kind of movie after being released, but it wasn't anything Fiend related from my understanding, and who knows when that project's going to eventually come out.
As always, thank you for tuning in live with us. And of course, if you're not live, you can still tune in on demand on any of the podcast networks or on YouTube on the Bleav in Pro Wrestling YouTube channel. We are almost to 500. And if you've not subscribed to YouTube yet, man, what are you doing? Because once we get there, we are giving away a $100 gift card to your shop of choice, WWE or AEW. So once we get, I think last I checked, we were about 15 away. And
who doesn't love free money?
Right?
Get your free money. Hit the sub button, people.
Hubba,
ain't that hard? It's
who do you trust?
A free click for potentially free money.
Who do you trust?
I mean, that's a win-win.
I'm giving away free money. So ask us anything in the chat at any time, at any point, because we're live, pal. Live up until close to Raw time. And boy, is there going to be some interesting things on Raw tonight. A Fightful Select article has dropped. We'll talk about at the end of the show as well. Some interesting matches, a return as well of someone. And so it's going to be interesting to see. Oh, man, we'll talk about that later. But we'll talk about that and see what happens. But next, let's move on. Here, it was reported by Mike Johnson, a PW Insider, that Triple H has tested positive for COVID and will not be at Raw tonight. According to the report, Triple H is said to be feeling well and in good spirits, but will be away from his in-person WWE duties until he's cleared the company's current protocol. So he's reportedly in contact with the producers and writers for the show. It has also been confirmed that he's going to miss Tuesday's NXT taping as well. Reports state that Bruce Pritchard is not currently backstage at Raw either. So it'll be interesting. It looks like Road Dogg is going to be running Raw tonight. Obviously, Shawn Michaels is more than capable of running NXT as he's been doing since Triple H had his...
Is he, though?
Oh, are you questioning?
Yeah, I am. Look, Pritchard was on vacation this week. It couldn't be helped. Road Doggy Dogg's in charge. Look, he ran head creative on SmackDown a couple years ago, and I thought he did just fine.
Road Dogg?
Until Vince breathed down his throat so much that he had to, resign. Look, it's one night, and I'm sure Triple H will be working remotely if he so desires to. And from my understanding, most of the creative, headed in tonight was already decided anyway.
Yeah.
So it won't be that bad.
No, and they'll have constant communication with Triple H, so it's not going to be like
the beauty of the technology age we live in.
Yeah, NXT was outside of Frazier and Axiom. Dragunov and Waller was pretty good, but I mean, there was everything else in between.
Dude, Waller got way too much offense on Dragunov.
Dragunov, yeah,
way too much. Dude, it's easily the worst show every week, and it's not even close. Like it doesn't get close to touching Impact. It doesn't touch Raw or SmackDown, and it surely doesn't touch AEW. Like they're like.
Has Shawn Michaels
I know
blocked
everybody
you
wants
yet?
to talk about the quote unquote Tuesday Night War. Oh, he vanity searched and blocked me after an NXT pay per view earlier this year.
That's probably why
I tagged the man.
That's probably
but,
why Mark Cho's saying that. That's probably why
he's-
Mark Cho's saying that.
He thinks he's funny.
Yeah,
But
to my
no,
knowledge,
it's not a good show, man.
to my knowledge, the only wrestling person that's blocked me is JBL, and I don't care. Sean has not blocked
Look,
me.
it all comes down to the people who end up blocking me are the people who are vanity searching, because I'm not adding.
Yeah, JBL vanity search.
And I'm not adding people and giving them grief, because that, like, to me, that's not what social media, needs. People don't need, to get grief in their mentions. So, if a wrestler goes out of their way to vanity search and block me, knock yourself out. If that makes you happy with yourself and in your Twitter experience, go for it.
Steven in the chat, NXT Halloween Havoc this Saturday looks like a good card. That is something we can definitely
Their
talk
live
about.
Look, their premium live events aren't NXT's problem. It's their weekly programming that's the problem.
Yeah.
More often than not, the premium live events are still are decent to good, and some of the matches are great.
We'll run down that card real quick here after we get done with some of the top stories here tonight. Give you our predictions as we normally would do on a loss of the mid card, which is returned after a year hiatus. So it's good to be back. So this will be it'll be our first kind of premium pay-per-view live event thing that we have. So it'll be good to talk more predictions here, of course. And then after that, we got Full Gear. We got Full Gear and Survivor Series. Those are the next two after that, isn't it? We don't really have anything in between, do we?
We've got Halloween Havoc. It rolls into Crown Jewel.
Which
rolls into Full Gear, which rolls into Survivor Series.
I forgot about Crown Jewel, as many people probably should.
Well, Logan Paul was very disappointed in you.
I'm sure he is. Next up, a very cool video has been put together by John Alba, who, of course, does a show with Matt Hardy on the weekly basis, The Extreme Life of Matt Hardy. And we're celebrating Matt Hardy's 30th anniversary being in the wrestling business. Check out Matt Hardy's YouTube channel, Matt Hardy Brand. The videos out there. A lot of wrestlers, wrestling personalities, people that work in the business, all sorts of people were in this video. It's about 30 minutes long. Definitely worth checking out. Matt, they put Matt, John puts Matt in the corner for his live reaction to all of this, all of the people that have talked. There's a lot of people in that 30 minutes. Most notably, three of them that are most notable in that video. Kurt Angle gave some well wishes. Jericho gave some well wishes, and The Undertaker gave some well wishes as well. And a lot of current AEW stars, a lot of indie promotion, a lot of referees, a lot of good stuff. So get a chance to check that out. I've watched about half of it here, so I'm gonna finish that up sometime later tonight. Did you get a chance to take a look at any of that, Matt? Or
I looked at the article with the quotes. I haven't got a chance to watch the full video yet, and it's something I'll watch before the week is over. I mean, I just think it's cool, Matt. Like, I don't know about you, man, but it makes me feel pretty old. I was around when Matt Hardy debuted, and now it's like 30 years later. Like, my God, that's freaking crazy.
Yeah, him and Jeff were, they got started in WWE as jobbers really young. I think Jeff was not even 18 yet. So that was pretty crazy. And then, of course, getting some indie work before being signed and obviously being paired with old Freebird Michael Hayes, and then taking off. Obviously, TLC with Edge Christian, the Dudleys. That's when it kind of skyrocketed to superstardom. And Matt Hardy is a and if you've watched our show, we've been big fans of Matt Hardy the whole way. Absolutely love the Broken Matt persona. We got to break down a lot of that stuff as it happened in Impact Wrestling, and then the watered down version in WWE. But obviously, Matt and Jeff, one of my favorite tag teams of all time. Hopefully, Jeff can get back sometime soon as well, and we can have that final run that we've been looking forward to. But in the meantime, Matt Hardy working with Private Party has been a great story on AEW. You've been liking what they've been doing there, Matt?
Yeah, and I think Matt Hardy losing his contract to the firm on Rampage Friday, I think it's set up to eventually bring Jeff back to like fight for his brother and Private Party's freedom, and he'll be the one to, get the trio out of the firm before the year is over. That's where I think it's going anyway, unless Hardy's court case goes off the rails in a few weeks, which would be very unfortunate for him.
Yeah, hopefully that is not going to be too terrible, but we'll find out in due time there. It has been announced here that according to WrestleNomics, Brandon Thurston there, of course, producing usually gives us the ratings the next day, does good work with statistics and such. He has reported that WWE Day 1 was scheduled for January 1st of 2023, but is now canceled. It is due to sporting events that are now scheduled to be taking place in the State Farm Arena in Atlanta, Georgia. So now instead of moving it or rescheduling it, obviously it'd make no sense to reschedule it because it's called Day 1. They have just decided to cancel it. Matt, are you going to miss Day 1?
Well, I mean, it was a pay-per-view one time. So I don't know if we could necessarily say that we're going to miss it, but there's no way WWE is going from Survivor Series to the Royal Rumble without a premium live event somewhere in between. So just because Day 1's canceled, I don't. There's going to be an event that replaces it. It's just a matter of what Triple H decides to use.
Yeah, they could do a TLC, a December dismember.
Stop it.
They could do something in December in Atlanta, and the tickets hadn't gone on sale yet for
they have not. No.
Yeah, so there's really no thing to. But yeah,
see, she's sad.
Yeah, Day 1, it was a good pay-per-view, and it was kind of interesting to have it on January 1st. But there's so much shit going on January 1st, anyways, with bowl games and day off from work. I don't
day off from work. It's a great time to watch wrestling. What are you talking about?
Yeah, but you might be. I guess you might be hungover from New Year's Eve, but a lot of people do.
That's a good idea, Stephen Chambers, and that's something I think Triple H would do. Oh, maybe. Damn! Could you see WWE Starrcade? Dude, that would be cool as shit.
Yeah, because they've been doing it for a live event. They've been doing it for live events, but never did a pay-per-view on it.
Dude, I bet you, this would absolutely be something Triple H would do.
Armageddon.
Armageddon. Armageddon's not a bad idea either, but man.
I remember Jeff Hardy winning the title at Armageddon.
I'm really liking Starrcade at the moment.
Yeah, Starrcade, man, that was an old classic WCW staple. WWE did some live events that were Starrcade branded, I guess, but never really aired. I don't even think they put them on the network.
Yeah, I don't think they did either. Just local marketing efforts, essentially.
Yeah, so that'd be a good idea. There's just absolutely no way that they could go. When is Survivor Series in November this year? 26. They can't go 2 months though. I mean, I don't think they would.
Yeah, no, because the Rumble's at like the end of January, isn't it? I'm pretty sure it's like the end of January.
Yeah, 28th, exactly 2 months. Exactly 2 months after.
So, there's no way they're going 2 months without a premium live event. There's just no way.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, there's no way they could do that. I kind of wonder if there's got to be something up their sleeves. Plus, if there's a planned event for Atlanta, they probably want to run a December event down there. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see that. Our last entry into the top stories here for this past weekend. WWE with an interesting trademark. They have filed to trademark Lyra Valkyra. Lyra Valkyra sounds very much like a Taya Valkyrie, does it not, Matt?
Why wouldn't they just bring her back as Frankie Monet? They already own that?
Yeah. You
like,
know,
do you really need a second trademark on a name you've already established?
I don't know,
man. And look, if you're bringing her back, and I'm not saying they are, but let's say they're bringing her back. If they don't bring her and Morrison back together, like, what are we even doing?
Need that worldwide.
That doesn't make any sense to me at all.
Need that worldwide underground, man. I love the worldwide underground and Lucha Underground. That was Taya Valkyrie, Johnny Mundo, then PJ Black and Jack Evans. That was a great faction there. But yeah, I mean, they wasted her in NXT, didn't they?
That's a good point.
Yeah. Yeah, it could be her. Have they said anything about when the NXT Europe's going to get up and running, or just sometime?
All they said is sometime in 2023.
DJ got a good point too. Could be Sarah Logan. They might bring her.
You know what?
A more Viking name,
like a Valkyrie. You know what? DJ might have nailed right on the head right there.
Yeah,
that's probably exactly what it's for. Because while she's been in those vignettes, they have not, shown her face or named her, after those video packages are over, like, they're not acknowledging that she's in them. So that could be her new name, when she returns with the Viking Raiders. That makes sense.
Yeah, I bet you that that's going to be what that is, because obviously they want to give her more of a Viking name, because they are going to pair her with the Viking Raiders.
Yeah.
And
which makes sense.
Those vignettes have been pretty cool with her on them too, so it's good to see her back. She's a great wrestler. Good to see her back in the business again after a couple of years off, having a family. Under new management again. All bets are off for what anybody can come back and who can come back and what they can do. So it's very interesting to see what's going to happen. Obviously, you got Nikki Cross. Maybe they bring back Big Damo. Maybe they bring back Sanity at some point. With not exactly Eric Young, but a version of Sanity. It'd be kind of cool to see as well. A lot of visions from Triple H that kind of Vince pissed on. So Triple H is now doing the pissing.
Yeah. What pisses around, brother.
Oh man, I don't know. All right, let's go into Halloween Havoc with this Saturday PLV NXT Halloween Havoc. There are 6 matches on the card, so
that should be it.
Yep.
Standard, NXT shows are like 5 to 6 matches, so this is they're probably not adding anything additional Tuesday night. Besides, Tuesday night feels more like NXT versus the main roster show, because we're going against AEW anyway. So
why are there so many main roster people on NXT?
Because the Tuesday Night Wars are reignited for one night only, pal.
Who do you think?
Massacre.
Who do you think? We'll get into the Raw preview in a minute, but who do you think Cora Jade picks? Is it obvious that it's going to be Bayley?
I mean, it's not obvious. Could be Bayley. Could be Rhea Ripley, who returned to live action over the weekend.
Yep.
So, I mean, could be either one. I think those are probably the 2 top candidates. I mean, you could go for Io Sky or Dakota Kai, but that just seems kind of silly. I think you'd want to put a bigger name on there. So to me, Bayley or Rhea would be the names that would make sense to me.
Yeah. It'd be kind of cool to bring back to host this would be Shotzi. I liked when Shotzi was involved with it back a year or 2 ago. It'd be kind of cool to bring her in as just like the host. That'd be kind of sweet. As I said, 6 matches on the card. Spin the wheel, make a deal. We don't know what it's going to be, but Apollo Crews taking on Grayson Waller in what's been a pretty decent feud, in my opinion. I am going to go with Crews. I think they're going to push Crews eventually, maybe be a contender for Braun Breaker down the line. I don't know. I still feel like Carmelo Hayes is probably going to be the one to take the title off of Braun, but I'm going to go Apollo Crews here, Matt.
Yeah, Crews for the win.
Ambulance match. If Julius loses, Brutus Creed has to leave NXT. Julius Creed versus Damon Kemp. Julius Creed is a star in the making. So is his brother, but Julius especially is a star in the making. There's no way that Julius loses this, is it?
No, there's no way. They're not breaking up the Creed brothers.
I bet
Makes no sense, and they're not ready to be brought up either.
I bet you
so
Roddy
he has to win.
I bet you Roddy returns to help him win.
I mean, he already gave his Adrian promo to them last week. So.
Yeah, he did the hospital thing. So
yeah, it was totally Rocky too.
That'd be a great idea, Steven. Wouldn't it be awesome if Roderick was in the ambulance when Damon's about ready to win, and then boom?
That would, you know what?
I love it.
Yes, absolutely yes. Stephen Chambers with all the great ideas tonight. That has to happen.
Hell yeah! That
Damon
would be
opens
great.
the thing and Roderick just knees him right in the face.
That would be sweet. Spin the wheel, make the deal. Weapons Wild match between Roxanne Perez and Cora Jade.
What the fuck is a Weapons Wild match?
I guess they're wild.
So stupid.
Weapons
you have an
everywhere.
opportunity to do a cool match type on the wheel, and you pick Weapons Wild.
You act like
stop it.
You act like the wheel ain't rigged.
Just don't put stupid shit on the wheel. And then you don't have to rig it. Put a whole bunch of stuff on there that could be cool, and then just let it spin for real.
Just like Wheel of Fortune, there's a break on that wheel. People don't believe me, but there is. Who do you got? Who you got winning that?
Oh, it's got to be Roxanne. It has to be.
Yeah. All the crap she's been put through, you got to think so.
Yeah, because Cora won their last match. So Roxanne has to win this one.
3 title matches on the line. The first of the 3 is for the NXT Women's Championship. Mandy Rose, Alba Fire. I feel like now's the time for a change. Alba Fire is the right person to end that long reign of Mandy Rose. Toxic Attraction is ready to be called up. I've already had a few matches with JC and Gigi. So I think it's more than overdue to call them up. SmackDown needs them as well. Mandy Rose loses to Alba Fire here, Matt. You agree?
Yeah, I think this is Toxic Attraction swan song in NXT, because I think if they wanted to keep them down there longer, Gigi and JC would be tag champions again by now. So since they're not, and since they're not getting another shot at the titles, to me, Alba beats Mandy and the trio gets called up to SmackDown next week. I wouldn't waste any time on bringing them up. That SmackDown women's roster could absolutely use Toxic Attraction right now.
And so could Wade Barrett.
Oh, I didn't even think about that. That's going to be annoying.
Wade's going to lose it. Michael Cole's going to need a raincoat.
Yeah, still better than the commentary we'll hear on Raw tonight.
Oof. And, oh boy, this is going to be a fun one. Ladder match for the vacant NXT North American Championship. Your competitors are Carmelo Hayes, Ora Mensa, Wesley, Jan Wagner. Sorry, I almost forgot my own nickname for him. Jan Wagner and Nathan Frazier. A lot of high flyers in this baby. Who do you think wins?
One of these names are not like the others. One of these names just don't belong.
Yeah, Chase.
What the fuck's Von Wagner doing in this damn match, JB?
Andre Chase deserved it because Andre Chase had never beaten Jan Wagner ever. And so when they had that qualifying match, I thought it was a perfect time for, because Chase has been on the up. Obviously, he's popular as hell. I thought Andre Chase deserved to be in this over Jan Wagner.
I
but
agree.
Who do you got? Who do you got winning out of those
even
6?
Axiom could have been in, over him. I think it's Wesley's night. I think you said you think Carmelo's going to beat Braun. I think Carmelo's getting called up.
Oh, well.
I don't think there's I don't think there's anything left for him to do in NXT. He's ready.
He is.
And he worked a recent main event match. which clearly means they're, considering creative ideas for him on the main roster. Because, like, when Vince was there, it didn't really mean anything. But I think with Triple H up there, if an NXT talent's coming up to work main event, he's doing it to showcase him to the current creative team and say, do we have anything for this guy right now? So I think Carmelo's on his way up to the main roster. I think this is Wesley's match to win. And I think after all the bullshit he's been through for the last several months without his tag team partner there, I think he deserves it.
Yeah, I agree with you on Wesley winning that. I don't know. Obviously HBK is a big Carmelo Hayes guy. I would not be surprised if Hayes does get a run with the NXT Championship and then gets called up after he drops it, which maybe put him on around Mania time. We'll see what happens there, though. Obviously, I agree with you. He is ready. I hope Trick gets called up with him because they are very good together. Trick obviously is not as far along, but Trick has held his own in one-on-one matches, and he's good on the microphone as well. They're both good on the microphone. So
I honestly don't think Carmelo needs him.
No, he doesn't. But
I think Carmelo can stand on his own. I mean, look, they want him in the Diesel, Kevin Nash, the HBK role as the big heavy. I mean, I get that, but I mean, like, he certainly doesn't need to talk for Melo.
No,
Melo
but I don't
can talk on his own. Melo can work on his own.
Yeah, I don't think they need to. They don't need to separate them. I don't think though. They work well together. I don't think they need to separate them.
We'll see what happens.
Main event, triple threat match for the NXT Championship: Braun Breaker, Ilya Dragunov, and JD McDonough. I'm gonna go Braun Breaker retaining against the two UK guys. I'd love to see Ilya win this, but I just don't see it. I don't see JD winning it either because he's already had his chance. I just think Braun's going to take them both on. What do you think, Matt?
While I think you're correct, I want Dragunov to win because I think Braun's reign has been stale as hell since his feud with Gacy.
Yep.
And it just has never recovered. Like, he was on an upward trajectory and they locked him into that couple month feud with Gacy, and it just killed him. It killed his momentum. It killed his build. Like, he needs fixed. And I think the only thing that can fix Braun right now is bringing him to the main roster and essentially just rebooting his character. I'd rename him. I'd rename him Bronson Steiner or something along those lines, and I would work on rebuilding him on the main roster because I think that run against Gacy on NXT absolutely killed him.
Mm-hmm.
It sucked.
Yeah, it's not been a great title run, and I've said it in previous podcasts before that it seems like the North American title's been booked better and booked to be more important than the main title has been over the past couple of months, which is wild to think, but it's true.
It's certainly been showcased more.
Moving on to AEW recap this week. They were in Canada for Dynamite and Rampage, and the big news the big news coming out of this was that AEW signed Renee Paquette. How about that, Matt? What a great get.
It's a great signing.
And we
very happy about that.
Kicked off Dynamite with Renee, and what a great person to interview for the first one. Christian Cage, the biggest dick in AEW right now.
Wow.
Christian. But of course, we led to Luchasaurus and Jungle Jack. Do you agree with Luchasaurus going over there? Is this more of a bigger?
Yeah,
I said this on Twitter. I said on Twitter, bigger picture. So I thought it was
until Christian gets healthy.
Yeah.
Like if Jungle Boy beats Luchasaurus, then what do they do? While they wait for for Christian to get healthy, like he has to be stuck with the dinosaur for a bit. We don't know when Christian's going to be cleared to compete again, and until he's at least like a month out or something, I don't think you can have Jungle Boy go over Luchasaurus yet. I thought it was a great match though. I mean, Jungle Boy looked great. Luchasaurus probably had the best singles match he's had since his AEW career started. Like there was no downside to that match. I thought it was great.
No. And Renee Paquette gets to interview yet another great Canadian, a favorite of ours, Ethan Page. That was fun to see. It's good to see Ethan kind of getting a little more fed to him in AEW, don't you see? Kind of seems like he's getting a little more momentum with the company.
Well, he's part of the firm now, so that helps. being in a group that's not ran by Dan Lambert, surely helps. So I think he's
Is
gonna.
Scorpio hurt?
Yeah, Scorpio was hurt during his TNT title run, so he's still. Who knows when he's going to be back? I know. I think it was some kind of knee injury, so I don't think there's any type of timetable on his return, like his in-ring return anyway. But Paige, if you go back and listen to the firm's promo after All Out, it's clear that Paige's targets the All Atlantic Championship. So I foresee him and Orange Cassidy having some bangers before 2022 is over.
That's gonna be a good match there. Ward Show took on the Factory. The big story was probably the big surprise of the night was the return of a gimmick that we all loved in NXT, and they kind of went in a completely different direction, especially after he busted open Cody Rhodes' head. But how about the return of the Perfect 10, Shawn Spears? Are you happy that this gimmick is back?
Yeah, I mean it's great. I mean it's honestly kind of hilarious because the whole plan was to get the 10 gimmick off of 10, in DC before they sent Andrade home.
Yep.
But so he's still 10 for another week, but I think he's facing Rushan on Rampage on Friday, and I think he's gonna lose the 10 name there.
I don't think they had the stipulations in that Roosh match, but yeah,
there's some kind of thing there, like if I beat you, you'll leave me alone.
Yeah,
or whatever. And Roosh is,
maybe Roosh will come back.
I think Roosh will be like, when I win, you're stuck with us,
or you'll lose the mask
along those lines. So
yeah, maybe you'll lose the mask if you lose or something. I don't know. But great to see the Perfect 10. Obviously, a gimmick that the fans still love. The fans popped for it.
And Hometown Boy too helped.
Mikey Ruckus throwing a great entrance theme there, throwing the 10 at the beginning, and it's just, and of course we saw him wrestle on Rampage. So it is a fan favorite, and it is very good to see this version of Ty Dillinger, aka Shawn Spears, back. A lot of fun there. Maybe the moment of Dynamite. How about that fucking promo from Adam Hangman Page?
I thought it was great, and I wish MJF wasn't in the crowd to glow on the heat during it.
Right.
Because I think he served as a distraction to the live crowd.
There was absolutely no reason to have him up there.
Fully focused on Page, they were focused on MJF sitting there. I think that was a mistake, and I'd like to believe if Tony Khan had the opportunity to do that again, he wouldn't have done that.
There was absolutely no reason to have him up there.
Yeah.
But, such is such. And, of course, this was not the main event, which we thought it was. But, hey, at least, the great thing about not having it last is you give it the time it needs. And I thought Chris Jericho and Danielson had a great match for the ROH Championship.
I thought the finish sucked. So...
Well, we all knew it was coming.
You could see it coming from a mile away, and it was very anticlimactic. Did not dig the finish of this match. And honestly, look, unless the next match is Danielson taking the title off of Jericho, I don't need to see Danielson versus Jericho anytime soon again.
Well, we already have
Give it to us like 3 times in 3 months now.
Yeah.
Let's back up on that match, and if you want to do it again, make sure Danielson's winning the title in that match. Do it at like Final Battle or something in December. I don't want to see that match again unless it means Danielson's beating Jericho.
Yeah. The women got their usual time slot. Tag match with Britt Baker and Hayter against Storm and Sheeta. Hayter still over with the crowd big time. The Good Girls get the win there, and then they are going to face each other on Dynamite next week.
Tomorrow.
My God.
Yeah, Sheeta and Storm for the interim AEW Women's World Championship tomorrow night on Tuesday Night Dynamite, pal.
No surprise, but Pac and Orange Cassidy tore the house down with that main event, didn't they?
Yes, and Pac continues to establish himself as no one can sell the DDT in professional wrestling better than me. And yeah, Cassidy got the much deserved win. Like, I think he should have gotten this win at at Grand Slam.
Yeah.
They could have done Orange Cassidy and Ethan Page in Toronto, which would have, I think benefited both men more. But better late than never. And Cassidy definitely deserves this title win, so good for him.
Rampage, good to see Claudio and Moxley tag together. Always fun to see that happen. And the Dark Order, another surprise. Maybe the Dark Order ain't dead because Stu Grayson returns to the company.
Stu.
I don't know why Tony. I don't know why or maybe it was Stu's. Maybe Stu wanted to get away.
It was Stu's decision.
Okay, good to see Stu back. Hopefully
now they can bring Allen back too.
Who?
5.
Oh yeah. Oh,
Allen Angels.
He is too talented to not have that job there, man.
He made the same decision Stu did. It was both their choices to walk away.
Oh, was Allen's choice too?
Yes, okay. They were both offered new deals, and they chose to. And they chose to go prove themselves elsewhere.
I am not sure about Thunder Rosa right now, and I've not even heard an update on her in a while. So I don't know, Matt. Have you heard anything?
She's on Busted Open every Friday. She continues to say that she's making progress and that she's going to be back soon, but she hasn't given any type of time frame, and I don't want to say Full Gear and be wrong, but I think we'll probably see her by the end of the year.
Stephen Chambers, thanks for that question. Of course, anybody watching us live, again, thank you for joining us live as we lead up to Monday Night Raw in less than 20 minutes. Thank you for joining us live. Anytime, any place, anywhere, ask us a question in the chat there, and we'll get to it pronto. But then we got Nyla Rose and Anna Jay. It's like they cannot figure out what to do with Nyla Rose. Like, fucking just make her a babyface, for crying out loud. And it just doesn't seem like they're committing to that yet. I don't know.
Hopefully sooner rather than later.
Ethan Page getting a win. And then in the main event, 6-man tag, Brian Cage in the Gates of Agony against FTR and Shawn Spears. Big pop for Shawn Spears. Basically doing his entrances as he did with the Perfect 10 back in NXT. Basically the old Shawn Spears is back. But the big story of Rampage was the return of the Kingdom, possibly to ROH. How great was it to see? I know old Daryl, our old co-host Daryl from Lost in the Midcard. I know he was happy to see Matt Taven again. I am very happy to see Taven, Bennett, and Maria in AEW ROH, man.
And look, we might have lost the Undisputed Elite, but Adam Cole might have just gained some new friends when he comes back, baby.
Oh man, if he reunites with the Kingdom, that would be so badass.
Dude, just put him and Kyle in the Kingdom. I know Kyle was never there, but you could always add one extra member. That stable is awesome.
Kyle's your mid-carder, Adam's your main eventer, and you got your tag team.
And the tag team. They could run a roughshod over AEW in 2023 if they play this right. It could be really fucking cool.
Previewing
it could also be a catalyst to eventually turn Britt Baker face.
Yeah.
Because she's jealous of the time that Adam's spending with Maria.
Like
they could do there's a lot of stuff they could do here, and it's very exciting to think about. The Kingdom, I know everybody was worried about where Cole was going to be placed when he came back, but with the Kingdom there now, oh boy, there's some very exciting possibilities of what they can do when the Bebe Man returns.
I am excited. Of course, we covered Ring of Honor when Adam Cole was world champion with the Kingdom there back in the day, in our early days of Lost in the Midcard. And man, it would be great because that was about the time I started watching Ring of Honors when me and Matt started this show about 8 years ago. And it would be pretty cool to come full circle and have Adam Cole join the Kingdom. That would be major. And obviously, once Ring of Honor gets established, I still would like to see some crossover. Obviously, not as much as we have now because there's no home.
Tremendously scale back.
But I would like to see a little.
A little bit of crossover is fine.
Just a pinch.
But they need to scale and get that freaking weekly TV deal and scale back because there's a lot of people that are like legitimately turned off by the amount of Ring of Honor on AEW.
Jose Gonzalez.
What up, man?
My former compadre on Top Story back in the day. Thanks for joining in, man. Happy Monday. It's going to be a happy Monday. We're going to see what happens here on Monday Night Raw. We'll get into that in a little bit. First, we're going to preview Dynamite here for you. William Regal interview with Tony Schiavone. That's going to be good. Renee Paquette's going to...
I'd rather have an interview with Regal and Excalibur.
Oh, you saucy little munchkin. Yeah. He didn't flirt with him on Friday because
he got in trouble with HR.
He just right. You saucy little Rice Krispie cupcake. Yeah, well, plus Rampage, they don't fuck around. They just get right into the action. So he didn't have time to flirt on Friday. Renee Paquette is going to interview Danielson and Wheeler Yuta. That'll be a lot of fun. Ring of Honor world title. Chris Jericho, Dalton Castle. That's going to be good. Dalton Castle, I forgot to mention on Dynamite. Great promo by him coming out there on Wednesday. Best Friends against Death Triangle Trios Championship. I don't think there's going to be a title change there. Do you?
I don't think so either. I still think Death Triangle's holding those titles until the Elite comes back.
Interim women's world title, Sheeta and Storm. No change there.
I don't see it. I love Sheeta, but I don't. Storm's getting the push right now. I don't see Storm dropping that title anytime soon. Storm will beat Rosa.
The interesting one is Jon Moxley, Hangman Adam Page. Moxley was supposed to go on vacation before this whole shit with Punk came down. I am thinking there's a title change tomorrow.
I think there is a title change tomorrow, but I don't think it's Hangman winning.
Oh,
I think
cash in tomorrow?
Yes, I think Mox beats Hangman. And MJF literally cashes in the chip in the only arena where he is going to get booed in the United States, in Moxley's hometown of Cincinnati, to win the AEW World Championship.
How Vince McMahon of you, Matt.
I think the World Championship changes hands tomorrow night. I think MJF wins the title in Cincinnati.
Triple Mania is this weekend too? Holy crap. I've not caught up
on Triple Mania was over the weekend. It already happened.
Oh.
Yeah, Penta was in the main event against Villano 4, and the loser lost their mask. Obviously, Penta won. So,
yeah, I don't think we're ever going to see Penta unmasked. That'd be the day, wouldn't it? Wow. Yeah. I mean, you got to bring your guns on Tuesday. It's the Tuesday Night War, so everybody's going to talk about the. I
think the world title changes hand tomorrow night. I really do.
Everybody's going to talk about the numbers come Wednesday morning. Or Wednesday afternoon is usually when they come out, about 4 Eastern.
4 o'clock Eastern. Yep.
Yeah. And then SmackDown. Before we get to Raw in the show, let's talk about SmackDown. I love the car crash and the beatdown. I love it. Was a unique open. Why did you
hate it?
Oh, I know why you hated it.
Because it made no sense.
It made Drew look like a dick.
Drew McIntyre look like a fucking asshole. The dude was just in a car accident. Look, I get if he's walking around backstage. Dude, I get if he's walking around backstage 100%. You're pissed off. Jump him. Beat his ass. That's fine. He deserves it for cheating. But the man was just in a car accident. And you come running out. Oh, goody. Look at my rival who's just in a car wreck. Let me beat his ass. Like, what?
Jose's going to be at NXT tomorrow. Hey, big main roster influence on that show tomorrow. So it'll be interesting to see.
Have fun, man.
Yeah, that's going to be a fun show to be at. I liked it because it was just a unique way to open Raw. SmackDown. Sami Zayn, Kofi Kingston, good match. Loved it. Sami Zayn is a goddamn star. Boy, is the Rock going to be up his ass coming soon once that turn hits. I don't know how or when. They could still stretch this out, man. I mean, it looked like Jay and Sammy were getting along because Jay helped Sammy win, and then Sammy was a dick to Jay. But that's kind of Sammy's fault. But I don't know. It was kind of interesting to see. How long do you think they drag this out?
They could drag it out as long as they want, in my opinion. Ain't no rush right now.
I mean, this has been like a continuous story for almost 3 years now, which is brilliant on WWE writing's part. Even giving some credit to the regime under Vince, this has been one of the best told stories of the past decade or 2 decades. With the bloodline going all the way to Jay and Roman fighting, and then adding Sammy, and it's just Jimmy coming back, and it's just so much. it just continues to evolve, this story. And Paul Heyman, Roman, panning over to Paul Heyman, and we'll go, holy shit, so.
I think everything bloodline wise comes to a head at WrestleMania. But right now, there's no reason to end any of it because the injections of Solo and Sammy just, it refreshed the entire storyline.
Yeah. The best part of Friday night, of course, the return of L.A. Knight. Yeah! L.A.
Friday night. You're drunk.
And just think, we LA Knight babyface because he turned on the models. No babyface promo from LA Knight, huh?
He's better as a heel anyway. It's fine.
Yeah, it is fine, and I'm perfectly fine with it too. But it is always good to see LA Knight back, and Triple H killing off the male models quicker than a hiccup. Then we got Damage Control taking on Raquel, Shotzi, and Roxanne Perez in a 6-woman tag. Roxanne, of course, choosing Raquel Rodriguez to face Cora Jade on tomorrow's NXT. Bayley getting pissed, and Roxanne going, well, you haven't been winning lately. So I thought that was kind of a funny line by Roxanne. Damage Control does get the win there. Bayley pinning Roxanne Perez. So it is Bayley needed that win too, by the way. I think you agree on that, Matt.
Yeah, she's had a rough week. She needed that win.
Yeah. This was an interesting thing here. Matt had a take on this. Legado defeating Hit Row in 2 minutes.
Oh boy. It seems like the honeymoon's over for Hit Row, doesn't it? It does not look good for Hit Row right now.
They're missing Swerve, aren't they?
They don't need to be missing Swerve. They're a fine tag team on their own. Like I don't understand it.
Look at this guy, Kev Kellum.
Oh, everybody's getting you to do your damn LA Knight.
It's a top story reunion. Yeah.
I ain't doing it.
Do you like Zelina in place of Elektra?
I like it, but I wish they wouldn't have done Elektra dirty. Like it's a great spot for Zelina to be in. But man, like from my understanding, like they didn't inform anybody of this until like 24 hours beforehand. This totally seemed like something Vince would do, as opposed to what Triple H would do.
Right.
So
Safet in the chat talking about Liv Morgan. What do you think about Liv Morgan going all Jeff Hardy now?
I think the biggest thing about this was the hooded figure in the background during this, looking at Wyatt's symbol. I think that's what everybody should be talking about coming out of that segment, because I feel Liv's going to have some kind of involvement with Wyatt sooner rather than later.
Oh, interesting. Mark Cho saying DLC got more buys once LA Knight returned because he was in a DLC package there.
I don't think that's actually true,
but
I'm sure he's fine.
Matt calling out Mark Cho. Look at that. Oh, boy. Rey Mysterio came to Triple H earlier in SmackDown, says he quits, and then Triple H says, come to my office, I'll give you. And then, of course, Karrion Kross could not be in the Fatal 4-Way to determine the #1 contender for the Intercontinental title, so Rey Mysterio gets put in, and Rey Mysterio gets to get fed to Gunther at Crown Jewel.
Ouch.
I thought it was going to be Sheamus.
I think it'll be a really great match.
Oh, it'll be a good match. He's just going to be bumping his ass off all match. I thought it was going to be Sheamus, and Sheamus, third time's a charm, actually was going to defeat Gunther.
You don't need to run back to that well too quickly. You can go back to that. It's not like Gunther's dropping that title anytime soon.
A lot of
Sheamus
us wanted
can be the one to win it, but I mean, it doesn't need to be right now.
A lot of us wanted Solo Sikoa to win, but it's too soon for Solo to lose. And I don't think he should beat Gunther.
Unless they were planning for Solo to beat Gunther, you can't put Solo in that spot right now.
But in terms of killing time, and especially if you're going to have Sheamus beat Gunther at a Royal Rumble or Survivor Series or even a WrestleMania, a good way to kill time is to feed him Rey Mysterio. Ain't that about right? And of course, we already talked about Bray Wyatt, so that covers SmackDown. So let's get into our final bit of the evening, and that is, of course, we're going to talk about what's happening in about 5 minutes. That is Monday Night Raw. Looking forward to Monday Night Raw here tonight. Brock Lesnar returns to Raw. What were your thoughts about Lesnar destroying Bobby Lashley like that?
I hated it. Absolutely hated it. They've spent the better part of this year establishing Lashley as one of the top baby faces on Raw in bringing credibility and prestige back to the United States Championship, and they threw it all away for the Brock pop and just had Lashley crushed. Like, if Lashley doesn't beat Brock at Crown Jewel, woof. Lashley
He has to.
Lashley needs to beat him at Crown Jewel.
The OC's back. They're going to take on the Alpha Academy. The Loomis versus Miz. If Loomis wins, he gets a contract.
And if he didn't have a contract already, why has he not been arrested by security every time for the past month and a half? Make it make sense, Triple H. You're better than that.
Semantics,
He's better than that, and you know it.
Matt Riddle challenging Seth Rollins for the United States Championship. Why are we doing this again? I don't know.
Because Riddle beat him in the fight pit. Look, at least it makes sense.
And Elias is back. My boy Elias. I'm excited to see Elias come back.
Rest in peace,
Ezekiel, Jesus, that was a shit gimmick. And of course, Ear Muffet. Spoiler alert. From Fightful Select. JBL is set to come to Monday Night Raw. Last we saw him, he was talking to Happy Corbin. Maybe it's a coincidence. Maybe they're going to be teaming together.
Yes, he's going to be Corbin's manager. It's going to suck.
And he's going to have the full entrance. And the Raw plans have been out on Fightful Select. AJ Styles and Dominic Mysterio are going to have a match. A returning wrestler taking on Dolph Ziggler. That's probably going to be...
It's Corbin.
Yeah, that's going to be Corbin there. Duke Hudson, Cameron Grimes on main event taping matches. And, a lot of other stuff. Go to Fightful Select for the rest of the spoilers. We won't get into that, but we wanted to talk about that main spoiler. But that's going to do it for this edition of Lost in the Midcard. Look at me plan to get you right into Monday Night Raw.
We are the unofficial lead into Monday Night Raw. That's what I've been saying. Go enjoy some wrestling, people.
We enjoy every one of you that came in and joined us. We're going to be here every Monday, 6 Central, 7 Eastern, leading up to Monday Night Raw. Literally, you can go take a pee break and then turn on Raw, and it's time to kick the action off. Any final words here before we wrap it up, Matt?
I think we're in for a good week of wrestling, and yep. I think it's going to feel really weird not to have any wrestling to watch on Wednesday.
Right. Yeah, so big break. But Wednesday,
that's going to be really weird for me.
Yeah, Tuesday to Friday is going to seem like an eternity in that. So it's going to be fun to watch. But once again, for Matt Black, this is Jeremy Bennett. Thank you for tuning in to Lost in the Midcard on the Bleav in Pro Wrestling Network, brought to you by Bet Online. Yeah!